God, I cry in all my videos. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. What you haven't seen is that I've started this video over like maybe 12 times, and whatever happens, happens. So first of all, I wanted to say thank you to everybody who has been subscribing to my channel. I remember when I started this channel back in August of 2016 and I put out my first video. My video was never meant to be a channel. It was just a way to get my video out there because it was a 30-minute format and I needed something that could be longer than on Facebook. People started subscribing pretty much right away, and I remember when I hit like 35 and I was like cracking up, going like, not cracking up, I was kind of actually freaking out because I did not know what to do with these people. I'm like, what do they want from me? I don't even know what to do with a subscriber. So I learned along the way. I'm still obviously totally completely learning, but thankfully there's people that have stayed with me since that very beginning and supported me throughout all of this. And I know I have a lot of new subscribers because of Bohemian Rhapsody, and a lot of new subscribers because of the Chris Watts case. So that obviously they have nothing to do with HIV, but welcome and thank you for subscribing. It's awesome and really very surreal and unreal. So I wanted to say thank you first of all for subscribing. Secondly, I want to do some shout outs for my HIV subscribers, or really anybody else, but really this is probably geared more towards people that are HIV positive or have subscribed to me because of my HIV advocacy. So first of all, I want to shout out Stephen Hart from Hart Talks, and this is how you spell his name. He has a YouTube channel and it's called Hart Talks, H-A-R-T Talks. He's also HIV positive. He's an advocate. Check out his channel. He's awesome. I've known him kind of from the beginning. We connected through YouTube. I saw his channel. He saw mine. We met in Amsterdam in I think it was August or September. What was it, Stephen? I don't remember. But we met up at the AIDS International Conference in Amsterdam, and he's just the nicest guy. Please go subscribe to his channel. He deserves more subs. The guy's amazing, and he's so nice. My God, he's the kindest person. Secondly, and I had mentioned her in another video, and then I never put her information below. Like, I completely screwed up. I wanted to make sure that I had it in this video. Her name is Brenda, and she's on Instagram right now. She was born HIV positive. She's on the East Coast. She's so intelligent, and she's an up-and-coming advocate. She is also going to be putting together a YouTube channel, and I can't wait to see what she does. So Brenda, and here's her information right here. My third shout out is to Rafe De Rossi, and he is doing YouTube also. He's also HIV positive. He's also a bodybuilder, and he's not hard to look at. You can clearly see how HIV does not affect him. Go watch Rafe. This is how you spell his name. He's also on Instagram. My last shout out for today is for Wade Shearer, right here from Positive Vibes. He's an HIV positive advocate. He has Positive Vibes Only South Africa. So look him up. He's amazing. He's had to fight for his ability to work as a flight attendant because of his HIV status. So check out Wade, check out his story, and see what he's done for flight attendants in South Africa. He's changing the protocol, basically. He's making sure that what happened to him doesn't happen to other flight attendants. They basically made him stop working and go through a bunch of testing, psychological testing, like things that don't even make sense, to make sure that he was still okay to do his job. And I'll tell you, Wade was never even sick. He was diagnosed and he was on treatment right away. There was no reason for him to lose 2 months of work and or to be treated the way that he was treated. He's an amazing guy, and he's been through a lot, and he's come out on top, and he's just continuing to kick ass. Kind of on that same vein, somebody had asked me about entering the US on a visa, and does having HIV affect that coming into the US? The answer is no. When Obama was president in 2010, this ban was lifted. So anybody coming into the US having an HIV diagnosis does not affect you getting a visa to come into the country or visiting for that matter. HIV is not anything that will bar somebody coming into the US. It was funny, after I did my video, this one, I talked about like things that I think go through other people's heads, maybe, you know, because I have HIV. And one of them was that when I go to a social event, like I've been to some Christmas parties recently, and there was, you know, hors d'oeuvres out. I kind of wonder if there's other people that are wondering whether I've bumped into another one, or if they have to worry, or if I've dipped. I don't double dip anyways. I mean, people don't do that. It's just kind of rude anyways because of just germs in general. But I do wonder if anybody is watching my hands or wondering what I've touched. I don't know. I don't know if anybody does wonder about that. I don't know. So I had a neighbor who watches my videos, and she was at one of those parties, and she said, "Jen, I can confidently tell you that I never ever think about something like that when you're around, or when everyone's eating, or when we've shared hors d'oeuvres." She said, "It doesn't even cross my mind." And so I just wanted to let my viewers know that that was really awesome to know that that was somebody who was willing to tell me that knew me. And you know, it's not like we sit here and talk about my diagnosis when I'm at that party, but it was really nice to hear that from her and know that it's nothing that she even thinks about. So awesome. So I've done this video on my symptoms, on my 16 symptoms, and one thing that I haven't really ever addressed was my recovery after, and some of the symptoms that lingered that were kind of like weird. So one of them was, as I was getting better from pneumonia and my viral load was going down, I don't even know what to make of this, but I had a lazy eyelid. So it was my right eye, and if I blinked for a second or like just did that and I'd look up, this eyelid would do it much slower. And I didn't know if anybody was noticing it at all. It was kind of embarrassing. Like I was like, man, what the heck is going on with my eyelid? It eventually went away. It was something that kind of like was there for maybe a few weeks as I was getting better, and then you know, it was just kind of doing it intermittently. So if anybody knows what that is all about, I have no idea. I mean, it was like muscle fatigue or something, but my yeah, my eyelid just wasn't opening quite as fast on this side as it was on this side. And I mean, I was aware of it, but I don't know if anybody else was. So that was one thing that was a little strange. I know a lot of people asked me how long it took to gain my weight back. I lost about 20 pounds. I'm normally around 138, and I was down to about 118, so I did lose 20 pounds. And you know, I'm naturally a thin person. I always have been a tall person who's thin, and you know, I'm careful about my weight. I have been my whole life. I think it's easier for me because I am tall, so I think it's a bit easier. But you know, I've had to lose weight before. I had 3 babies, and I had to, like, you know, eat really well after and exercise and lose that weight. I mean, I had 55 pounds with my first kid, so I'm aware of like how to lose weight also, which is not fun. But I'm way more about like maintaining. I guess my point to all of this is that I've always want to feel thin, on the thin side, because that is what feels like comfortable for me. It's what I've kind of been my whole life. But when I got down to 118, there was nothing about that felt good in any way. I remember like not even really wanting to see myself in the mirror. Like I actually was like kind of horrified by what my body looked like. I felt like I looked like I was in Auschwitz. It was really, really awful. So it was a thin I would never want to see on myself again. I really, really had a hard time seeing myself. But I remember that when I would shave my legs in the shower, this is like as I was getting better and starting to put weight on finally, and all I had to do was just eat. That's how I got the weight back. I didn't have to like eat protein shakes or you know, tons of donuts or anything like that. I just started eating again, and it did come back. It was like my body was like, oh yeah, let's go back to how you used to be. So it, you know, it started coming on, but I wasn't eating. I mean, I couldn't eat. I just was nauseated, just totally nauseated. So when you're nauseated, the last thing you want to do is eat. So that was why I lost all that weight during that time. But I remember shaving my legs, and the inside from like right here, this part of my leg, I remember like that was all sunk in like real deep when I was at 118. And as I started gaining the weight, that started filling out. And I remember just feeling so excited to see like that indentation filling in. And I remember thinking like, it was just such a good feeling to see like my body filling in again. It was literally happening in front of my eyes. I mean, it happened really quickly. So I'd say I probably had my full weight back on within like, I don't know, maybe about 2 or 3 months. It was, I mean, it took a little while, but it didn't take that long, and it wasn't hard to do. I just ate again, so. A lot of people say that I look like different people that they see on TV. Some people have said Allison Janney. I don't know, maybe. I get the Lisa Kudrow all the time. I think it's because of the shape of my face, or we have totally different noses. I get Laura Prepon from that 70s show and Orange is the New Black. I don't know, what do you think? I don't think I really look like any of them. I mean, I kind of see the Phoebe thing, but kind of, sort of. I do get those three quite a bit. This last weekend, Eric and I went up to my parents' cabin in Twain, Hart, California, and it's up in the, I don't know, is it the Sierras? It's like kind of on the way to Yosemite, and we went to Dodge Ridge and we went snowboarding, so I thought I would include a little bit of footage of that. Snowboarding is really, really hard, and I was not a skier growing up. I learned how to ski a little bit in junior high and high school when I went with like friends, and I would just snow plow the whole way down or go down on my butt. Like I never took a lesson. I didn't really know what I was doing. But Eric, you know, growing up in Quebec is really like totally into like winter sports, and he's been a skier and like a snowboarder for a long time. He's really, really good at it. And so, you know, we want to share these things together. So he got me some really killer boots. They're so cute, and it's hard to have cute boots on size 11, you know, feet, so I'm like so happy about it. So we went for our second round of snowboarding, and we'd gone 2 winters ago to Taos, New Mexico. So I'd gone like 20 years ago, 2 days in a row, and it was just a bunch of falling. This was like when I was 30. And then I went 2 years ago with Eric, so 1 full day there. It's a lot of falling. And then we went this last weekend to Dodge Ridge in California, and it was a beautiful day, sunny. I mean, it wasn't crowded. It was just the best conditions ever. And I definitely had my share of spills again. It is, I don't know, for those of you out there who snowboard, I know that there's gonna be a point where I'm finally gonna get it, and right now I'm just like, I'm not quite there yet. I've had moments where I'm like, oh my God, I'm doing it. And then of course, I just have those moments where I just keep falling. So the worst fall of all was getting off the chairlift. I had 2 really bad falls getting off the chairlift because you only have 1 foot buckled in. For those of you that snowboard, you know all about this. And it was a pretty narrow little path down to the more open area, and it was pretty steep, and we'd get off together, and I'm goofy foot and he's not, and I'm like, I felt like our boards were crisscrossing as we're trying to go down this thing, and 1 foot's free because it's not allowed to be in the binding. Because that's just the way they do it. I'd love to just be able to get off the damn lift with the freaking board in my arm and then run down the hill, but they won't let you do that. So I go down, and that free foot is slipping off the board because I don't have a track pad, and the second it catches the snow, the other foot's still going, and you just eat it. So I had 1 fall where I don't even know like exactly what happened, but all I knew is I slammed down super hard on my butt. I mean, it was like the kind, you like almost wonder if you like broke your hip. Like I hit it so hard, and it's like, you think the snow's soft? It's not. Like, it's hard. And I was like writhing in pain. I mean, that is so embarrassing. They have to actually like stop the chairlift for a second because my body was in the way. So I finally hobbled my way off into the side and got away from everybody, but I ended up with a little bruise on, well, I thought it was going to be bigger, to be quite honest, but I have a bruise on my butt from it. After that, I'd say my confidence kind of went down, because the second you have pain, it's like you're more hesitant about everything that you're trying. And so I was just like, you know, and I think I was just tired. You know, I'm almost 50, and like every time I fell, it just like took more energy out of me. But anyways, we had a great trip, and I just wanted to share some of our moments from that trip. Good morning. in the car. I'm done. I'm done. My butt is broken and I'm done. I don't have any of Eric's snowboarding, unfortunately, because he went up on different, you know, black diamond things that I was in the lodge, and I just didn't get any of him, and I wish I had, because he's so, like, oh, he's so great to watch. I just love watching him. It's just amazing to me. It's so effortless for him, where for me, every little movement is very thought out, and I'm, like, full of, like, you know, nerves and fear and you know, of course, relief when I make that turn and I don't fall, which has just kind of started to happen. So I'm gonna get it. It's gonna happen. And it's funny, on the same tangent, talking about Eric, I've had a lot of things with him on my Instagram recently, because he's here for the winter from Quebec. And so he's been on my YouTube lives, he's been on my Instagram lives, he's been in lots of photos and videos, and it's amazing to me that I still get people on a daily basis telling him how stupid he is for being with me, and that, you know, it's like he could get this deadly virus from me still. And that I'm irresponsible for even being with him, that he's HIV negative, and how dare I, and if I really cared about him, I wouldn't be with him. He's shocked by it, actually. I guess I'm not totally shocked by it because I see it so much, but he's actually, like, shocked by how, like, awful people can be. And, you know, it doesn't matter what people say. He's not going to stop being with me because of what people say, for one thing. I mean, that's silly. But secondly, I mean, I've talked about this so many times before, but I am undetectable. Like, I cannot give this to Eric in any way. So I'm very open about it. So is he. It's condomless sex. We don't use condoms. He is not going to get HIV from me. So if you don't know about U equals U, I'm going to put a link to it, and look right up here. This is my link to U equals U. You can also subscribe to the Prevention Access YouTube channel for any information that you want in regards to it. This is science. This isn't like we're just like crossing our fingers hoping it won't happen. Like, it doesn't happen. The virus is suppressed in my body. It is not going to touch him. First of all, he has a penis. He doesn't have any open mucous membranes. It's not going to go through his skin anyways, and it didn't. He was with me for a year and he's HIV negative. So he was exposed to me even when I had a viral load, but I don't have a viral load anymore because I take my medication every day. So it's just really important that people know and understand this science, and we're hoping in the HIV community that this information will help reduce stigma. It's still super strong. It's still there like it was in the 80s and 90s, and it just doesn't even make sense because this is not what it was in the 80s and 90s. First of all, it was never, ever something that you could give to somebody through food or drinking or a sneeze. It's never been that anyways. It was sexually transmitted, obviously, but when someone's undetectable and they're taking their medication every day and their virus is undetected, they can't transmit it. And that goes, like I've said in all my videos, that goes for men to men, women to men, men to women. It isn't going to happen. In science, they can't say zero, but it's basically like saying your head could never blow up, but it might. I mean, we can't say that it won't ever, right? Because in science, there's never a zero or a never. The studies that were done speak for themselves. There were 0 transmissions, and just the partner study alone, that was 58,000 sexual encounters, and there's 0 transmissions from an HIV positive partner who was undetectable to their HIV negative partner like Eric. There was no transmissions over, you know, so many years, but 58,000 sexual encounters, I mean, I think that speaks for itself. And they also always knew that low viral loads equated to 0 transmissions or less transmissions. The lower the viral load, the lower the transmission rate was. So it's always gone hand in hand, but they know now that it's when you're undetectable, you're untransmittable. It just isn't going to happen. I still have people that hear me talk about it and say, there's still a risk. There isn't a risk. And I would never, ever put him at risk. It's 100% his decision. And he chooses not to because he knows he's not at risk, because he's not dumb. It's because he's actually incredibly educated. And that's what I don't think everybody gets, is they think that he's putting blinders on. He's not. Eric has done his homework. He knows he's safe. He knows he's not at risk. I know he's safe. I know he's not at risk. And I'm just so thankful that he stands by my side. No, it's gonna make me cry. God, I cry in all my videos. I'm so thankful that he stands by my side, supports everything I do, and, you know, isn't afraid to show his face next to me, because that's just, you know, what that does for stigma is really incredible. So I'm beyond blessed to have him in my life. Thank you to Eric for always sticking by my side. Okay, guys, I am going to wrap this one up. Have a great week. And if you have any questions, let me know, write in the comments, and I'd be happy to answer them. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, especially if you like this video or any other videos I do. I promise that I will keep doing videos every Monday. Have a great week, you guys. Bye.